there. Welcome to Movie Review Mom. If you are brand new to my YouTube channel, yay, thank you so much for finding me. I've been waiting for you. And if you are a returning subscriber, yay, I really appreciate your support. So my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. So today, the specific film I'm reviewing is called The Fabelmans. It is rated PG-13 and is 2 hours and 31 minutes long, which is a long movie, but it actually flies by really fast. This nostalgic look at filmmaking is brought to us by Universal Pictures and is now playing in theaters nationwide. My overall movie review mom grade for this is an A. I really, really enjoyed it, partly because I'm a cinephile, but also partly because it's Steven Spielberg and it's awesome. Okay, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let me give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things that I really liked about the movie, and then things I didn't like so much about the movie. And then I'll offer tips for parents because your kids might be interested in seeing this, and themes that are worth talking about if you do watch it with other people, and interesting lines, funny lines, and then other movies that are somewhat similar that I think you'll also really like. If you like this one, all right, you ready? Let's dive in. First of all, you know I'm obsessed with movies, so I loved this tribute to the power of movies and to director Steven Spielberg himself. It's a coming-of-age film based on Spielberg's childhood in post-World War II Arizona, of all places, by using a fictional family called the Fabelmans. Get it? Fabelmans, you know? So Spielberg had talked about creating a film about his childhood for many years, but it wasn't until he had time on his hands during the COVID-19 lockdown that he began to write the screenplay with Tony Kushner. It only took them 2 months to write this script together. That's pretty impressive. The last time that Spielberg got screenplay writing credit for a movie was back in 2001 for the movie AI, Artificial Intelligence. The fantastic cast includes Michelle Williams, who I thought was fabulous, Judd Hirsch, Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, and young actors Matteo Zorian and Gabrielle LaBelle. They played perfectly flawed characters. Seth Rogen said that Steven Spielberg was often tearful on set because everything portrayed in the film really did happen to him in his childhood between the ages of about 7 and 18. Believe it or not, this is the very first time Spielberg has had a movie premiere at the Toronto Film Festival, where he got 2 standing ovations, and the movie won Best Film. All right, so actually that was more than a nutshell. Now I'm kind of going into the things that I liked without telling you. These are some of the things that I liked. Paul Dano played Bert Fabelman, who represented Steven Spielberg's father, Arnold. The last scene that Paul Dano filmed was shot on the anniversary of Arnold's passing, so that's very sweet. I love how the movie shows vulnerable moments where the young Fabelman, Steven Spielberg, saw things differently than most people. And so it's such a personal film for him. Yeah, I've been a Boy Scout merit badge counselor for many, many years, and I remember hearing that Steven Spielberg had made a movie to earn his filmmaking merit badge, and turns out that's actually true. It wasn't a rumor. The talented John Williams will soon be 91 years old in February of 2023, but he said that it's very hard to say no to Steven Spielberg when the director asked him to work on this movie and the upcoming movie Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Those hopefully won't be the last ones, but he really does want to retire. So I just lost it during a scene where the grandmother died in the hospital because both of my parents died last month. And this is one of the very first conversations that I've been able to have without bursting into tears. But the movie was very, very touching and very sweet. So if you enjoy Michelle Williams' singing voice in this movie like I do, you will definitely want to watch her belt it out in the movie The Greatest Showman. I love that movie. Some of the jewelry that she wears in this movie actually belonged to Steven Spielberg's mother, Ashley Atkinson. She looks like she really is playing the piano, and there's several scenes where I'm like, wait a minute, is that her? Did she really learn how to play that? Her acting performance in the movie was just absolutely stellar. It always is. She's really one of my favorite actresses that's working these days. Now, there's a lot of humor as well as many poignant moments that help us to see into the soul of one of the greatest directors of all time, Steven Spielberg. All right, now with all of that great praise, do I have anything negative to say about the movie? I don't. I actually really enjoyed it. I was looking, I was thinking, I was trying hard to come up with something, but I just really, really did enjoy it. So let's run on to the next list of things, and that is the list of tips for parents. So there is some violence, a little fisticuffs happens. There's some drug use that's seen. Some teenagers flip the bird. I've always thought that that was just the dumbest gesture. Even as a kid, I'm like, you're sticking a finger up at me, boo-hoo. There is some profanity, including one F-bomb, and you'll laugh when you hear it spoken by the person that says it. So some of the themes that are illustrated very well are the power of movies, and I absolutely believe in the power of movies. Also, truth and honesty, inspiration, family, filmmaking, art, marriage and infidelity, passion, grief, love and loss, guilt, anti-Semitism, forgiveness, and selfishness. All right, so whenever I watch movies, I'm always writing down really interesting lines or sometimes funny lines simply so I can share them with you and you kind of get a taste for the dialogue. And so there's this one scene where this young Fabelman, as a teenager, the young Steven Spielberg, really likes this girl, and she's Christian, and she's kind of concerned because he's Jewish. So they're going to go to prom together. And so he gives her a lovely necklace, and it has a cross on it. And she looks surprised, and she says to him, this is Monica Sherwood is the character. And she's played by Chloe East. And she says, did you find Jesus? And Sammy Fabelman, this teenager played by Gabriel LaBelle, says, at the jewelry store. I thought that was pretty cute. There are many, many scenes that show how whimsical and playful Mitzi Fabelman, the mom, is. And she's played beautifully, I think, by Michelle Williams. We probably will see an Academy Award nomination for her, probably for this role. And she deserves it. I thought she did a great job. But anyway, so there's a tornado coming. And so she jumps in the car, grabs her kids and says, let's go find it. And one of the kids, the younger Sammy Fabelman, when he's much younger, he's played by Mateo Zorian, and he says, is this safe? And the mother, she says, of course it's safe. I'm your mother. And then some things happen, and she realizes that really wasn't very safe. And I loved her reaction because she just realized she put her precious babies in harm's way. And I thought that was a powerful moment. She really supported her son in his exploration of filmmaking, and he did this movie about her, just about her, for her, from clips from a camping trip, and she just loved it. And she said, you really see me. And I thought that their relationship was very tender as various things happen. I don't want to give you any spoiler alert. And so Benny, who's played by Seth Rogen, is talking to the teenager, and the teenager says, I'm done with movies. That's it. I'm not going to make them anymore. And so Seth Rogen's character says, if you stop making movies, it'll break your mother's heart. And again, I thought that that was sweet because it spoke to how much she supported her son in his artistic endeavors, whereas his dad always referred to it as a hobby and kind of put him down for that silly nonsense. And she really believed in him. And everybody needs a mom who can believe in you and support you like that. All right, I'll share just a few more interesting lines, and they both happen to be from Mitzi Fabelman, the mom, again played by Michelle Williams. At one moment, she says, guilt is a wasted emotion. And I thought, that's a really interesting idea. That's definitely worth talking about. Do you agree or disagree with that? Comment down below too, because I'd love to hear your remarks on that. And then at one point she says, Sammy, do what your heart tells you. again, speaking to that support. And I guess that's a theme. I forgot to even mention that when I was running through the list of themes. It's definitely a theme in the movie. All right, so I instantly thought of two movies while I was watching this that I want to recommend to you. The first one is called Super 8. It actually is a Spielberg movie and refers to the old Super 8 films that people used to make films back in the day. And it's a mystery thriller with some kids, kind of a Stranger Things kind of a vibe to it. And it's really, really fun. And then another one is Cinema Paradiso, which is just an ode to filmmaking itself and a classic. So I love Steven Spielberg. I mean, who doesn't? Everything he touches is magic. And I loved seeing this very vulnerable film that he made about himself and his life and how difficult that must have been for him to reflect on his own personal life and look at the influences that really brought him to where he is today. And that speaks to probably the length of this movie. He probably just had the hardest time cutting things out to trim this movie to an acceptable length. And so, most movies are about an hour and a half, 90 minutes long. And so his is definitely longer than that. But I never felt like it was too long. I never looked at my watch. I'm looking at my watch. I don't even wear a watch, but I never looked at the clock to see, oh, when is this movie going to be over? I enjoyed it that much. And I hope you do too. Thank you so much for subscribing if you haven't already and liking this video if you haven't yet. And when you get a minute, run over to Instagram. You can see me at Movie Review Mom, but you can also find me as Trina Boice, which is my name. And there you can find out about my 31 nonfiction books, as well as my daily podcast and some of my online courses that I've created for personal enrichment and also professional development. All right, have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.